on activities, not outcomes. And the one from the people follow you, recognize the actions that you want repeated. So don't necessarily focus on Success Club or Emerald or Diamond or Elite even. Focus on the activities that you need to do to get there. And for your team, recognize those actions that people are doing. So recognize and do your invites, transformation posts, reaching out to new people, interacting with new people, all of those activities that if you do them, you will hit Success Club no matter what. You will advance rank. You will build diamonds on your team. So focus on the activities and the actions. And from a coach perspective, recognize your team when they step outside of their comfort zone. So one time a coach sent me her to-do list and I copied it and I pasted it in my team pages that this is what my girl boss is doing today. Or another time they had a list of their follow-ups, share that. Another time somebody just said, I'm so outside of my comfort zone, but I'm going to do it anyways. And so I shared that. So recognize the activities. Have a no pressure attitude. This really helps with don't be pushy. This alone will relieve so much stress from you. If you truly don't care if someone joins your groups or not, and I don't say don't care because we want to help everyone, but if you don't put so much emphasis and your soul into that one person signing up, then you won't be pushy. You'll know that more people are down in your pipeline and they will sign up, which kind of leads into my next one. Be confident that the people who do not sign up right now, the people who ignore you, the people who tell you no, they are still following your journey if you're posting consistently, and they will join you. At least speaking for myself, my confidence that knowing every single person that I talk to, knowing that they will join, makes me feel like when they say no, I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll see you in a couple months when you're ready. Like, I truly believe everyone I talk to will sign up with me down the road. And so that alone gives me such a better feeling, so that is no longer an objection or rejection. It's just not the right time for them. And it leaves me like optimistic, honestly. Like when people tell me no, I'm just like, okay, no problem. I'll talk to you in a little bit. And I'll ask them what's holding them back. So of course I know their objection and I know how to target that. But it doesn't sting anymore. Honestly, guys, when people say no, I'm like, okay, no problem. And this is what I do on how I'm not able to let it burn so bad. So yeah, you guys are able to build your team and your challenge groups and reach all of your goals. It's definitely part of attracting people to you, doing the work and finding people, and then this last step of just detaching yourself so that you're able to be your best self and keep doing these daily activities, and all of that will happen for you. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Wow, that was really, really awesome info. Thank you. I've got a couple things, but I'll let anyone else ask questions before I jump in. So if you guys have questions, just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask away. Anyone? Isa said, awesome tips. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for hopping back on, you guys. Sorry for going over.
No. All right, well, I'll ask a question because I loved so much about what you said throughout the whole thing. But we're just kind of starting in Instagram. I feel like our team in general has not focused on Instagram, and I know there's a huge world of Instagram people and possibilities. So my question for you is, so you like it and then comment on their picture, and then when you go ahead and message them, do you hear back from them? What percentage of the time would you say you hear back? Do you hear back most of the time once you get to that stage, or is it just like Facebook where sometimes you do, sometimes you don't?
I would say most of the time, as long as I do that PS check your messages when you get a chance. If I don't do that, very little responses. But when I do send that, I'd say like 80% of the people actually get back to me.
Okay, Cool. So I just want to make sure I got that right. So you do the hashtags. I got all that stuff. So you comment a little bit throughout the next couple days, and then you say, P.S. check your messages, and then you send them a message to connect a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then a little while later, however, whenever it's applicable, you invite them to some kind of a group or coaching or whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
That is very cool. That's very interesting. I know that we really need to get into Instagram as far as like finding new contacts and stuff. So I love what you said about that.
Yeah. And I do the same sort of process on Facebook too. I just expand my network on Instagram now. So like all my new people are on Instagram. And one thing that I think I do a little bit differently than most coaches too is I split up my like the power hour activities, like to me, interacting, connecting, inviting. I focus on one activity each day. So Mondays are my days where I invite people that I've previously connected with, just because I feel like Mondays people want to get back on track. They probably fell off during the weekend. So Mondays is my invite days. Tuesdays is my expanding my network and interacting. Wednesdays is connections. And then Thursdays and Fridays is follow-ups from my invites and just responding to people who I just haven't gotten a chance to respond to. So I really just focus on one thing each day rather than like all of those every day. I just do them in bigger quantities.
That makes sense. I think we do a little bit of that with like batching and whatnot. Bonnie asks, do you invite your Instagram people to a Facebook group?
So regarding challenge groups, I always do mine now through the My Challenge Tracker app. I do use Instagress. It's a website that likes and comments on posts for you. And so one of my comments is an invite to my free group, which is on Facebook. And so I do use that. And then if somebody tells me no, for whatever reason, I'll always invite them on Facebook or to join me on Facebook in that free group. So it's kind of like my backup option.
Interesting. So, for Instagram, do you try to find them on Facebook as well, or do you mostly keep them on Instagram and then move them to the Challenge Tracker app?
I keep them on Instagram.
Okay.
And if I'm inviting to a challenge group, I do pretty much everything right there in Instagram, or I'll say, is email a little bit better for you? I can always email you, and then I'll convert them to email. And for coaching, I try and always convert them to email, just because on Google Streak, I don't know if you guys use that, but they have a snippet feature where you can save like conversations basically. And it's super easy to just basically copy and paste what you have to say. And so it's much quicker for me to go through that. So I try and convert them to email actually. I just did not see a high conversion rate when I asked them, are you on Facebook and would you like to be friends on Facebook? People didn't like that. I would lose half of my people, and then they wouldn't want to continue the conversation with me. So
interesting.
I try and keep them wherever I have them instead of asking them too many things like, okay, go friend me here, or like, I just sent you a friend request here. So that's just my strategy.
That makes sense, I guess. I get that. All right, Diane asks, are you guys finding that messaging strings are deleted? Like, I know I've spoken to some people, but now the history is gone.
I've noticed that in Instagram, and the way to get it back is by messaging them again. And so I'll just say, so if I feel like the name sounds so familiar, they're on my follow-up list, but I don't remember what we talked about, I'll just say like, hey girl, how was your weekend? And then it'll load. Not every time though. Like if it's been a very long time since we've connected, it just starts fresh, and it does delete the old conversation. So that's a track like what you guys talk about in the conversation, or try and just say something generic, like nothing too specific, just to get caught up.
Okay. Lisa asked, how do you use Streak to track connecting?
I will show you guys. Let me open up my Gmail. All right, so Google Streak is tied to your email. And so you have this pipeline section. where I have almost everyone in my prospect pipeline. And so I just have it set up like this. So I track everyone in these columns. So the first one is I'm clearly very far behind if you look at these numbers. But these are all my new contacts. So people that I've personally found on Facebook, or somehow they've like followed me on Instagram, or I found them on Instagram, is 90% of them now. And then interaction. So here I move people from my new contact connection into here, so I know to interact with them. And same thing, if I invited them but they suddenly stop talking to me, I'll move them back to interaction. So this is how I track who I need to interact with. Same thing with connections, so I'll move them from there into connections. Once I connect, I try and keep them in here, so I connect with them like 2 or 3 times, and then you just click and you can move them to invites, and then I've got my invites. These are all people ready to be invited, people ready to be followed up with. Interested in chatting, I separate so that I know who to prioritize when I follow up with them and who to interact with and whatnot. But pretty basic. I followed Brooke Lipoff. I think that's her name. She does Streak, and I followed her setup. It's way more complicated, and I tried it, and then it took me probably 2 months before I really got down my own system. So this is what works for me, and there's lots and lots of ways that you can set it up for yourself too.
Very cool. Everyone's loving this, by the way. Okay, let me keep going here. So Bonnie, yes, so do your Facebook people do the challenge tracker?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess that's it. Anyone else have questions? Those are good questions. Do you find the interaction on your on the app is okay for you?
Yeah, I do. I think the health bet was I don't know if you guys did the health bet in there, but that is always like that. Everyone in there loves that. I do find people love to log their shakes and to log their workouts, which is great because it holds them more accountable. I don't always get the best interaction on my posts, but I pin it to the top of the page, which helps. That gets a lot more interaction. I also co-host with my twin sister, and so we're able to combine groups. So I think having new people in there gets people excited. And I just like it from a management standpoint because I can see when people log in, how many shakes they've logged, so that when I reach out to them on Fridays and I can say, I see you've only logged in once this week. Is everything okay? Or you've logged in five shakes and 5 workouts. You're doing amazing. You should consider becoming a coach, or whatever it is. So I like it. And I find sometimes to get more engagement, I will do like a health bet type thing where it's optional and they can PayPal me $10, and anyone who PayPals me can be entered into the cash pot. And then it's like, if you log in every day, you win part of the cash pot, or there's some sort of qualification that boosts participation as well. Very
cool. Love that. Yeah, I've seen a couple people do that, their own little health bet too, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. Wow. Awesome information. Anyone else have any questions?
I do. Can you hear me, Katie?
Yes. I was like, I wasn't sure who was talking. Yes. Hi.
I had myself on mute. I have a question about Instagram. I'm getting a lot of fitness coaches following me. Mm-hmm. Do you follow them back? I mean, I feel like it's, pointless.
Yeah.
And who do you follow? Like, I mean, you want to follow certain people, but like, I don't know, it was Megan that said something like she doesn't follow everyone. She just lets them follow her. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, I know you can still interact with the people that are following you.
Right. Yeah. So lots of coaches do follow me too. I don't follow them back. I don't follow any coaches unless they're coaches on my team for the most part. Because you don't want to waste your feed, I guess, on other coaches. You want to be following potential so that when you log in, it's a list of your potentials that you can easily interact with. Tips to not get coaches to like your post is don't use hashtag Beachbody, hashtag Shakeology, hashtag 21day6. That is bringing other coaches to you. And Shalene Johnson always says when you do that, if you are attracting a potential client and they see your shake and it looks so good and they see it's Shakeology, they're going to click on your hashtag Shakeology. Top posts, which is probably, like Melanie Mitro, Lindsay Matway, their amazing shake posts, and then right, and message them to see more about the information. So it's kind of like throwing it away. And then, sorry, what was the second part of that?
I don't remember.
Oh, it was, she wondered, it was, there are some people that follow you that you don't follow them, but you can still interact.
Yeah. I only follow people that appear to be a quality potential client or a potential coach. But with Instagram, they follow and unfollow people for me too. So I'm following now like 2,400 people. But when I choose who I want to follow, it's only people that are quality potentials that I think would be really good.
I looked at that Instagram, and I mean, obviously it's working for you. And I feel like sometimes I get those posts or those comments that I feel like it's Instagram from them.
Oh yeah, it probably.
You know what I mean? I'm like, why did you post that under my picture? And I don't want to come off like that to somebody else. You know what I mean?
I actually just did an Instagram training on Friday on tips on how not to do that. Because Instagram can be spammy. If you let it be, you have to be really careful with like the comments that you use, the hashtags that you target, and all of that. So if you're interested in using Instagram, I can at least share with you how I set mine up so that, you don't, comment on other people's posts.
Yeah, that'd be great. Because I know Instagram, I feel like it might be even a little bit easier to connect with people because it's just, I don't know, it's different. It's just pictures. And everybody, oh, that's cute, that's cute, it's cute. It's like all about the picture. And Facebook is just, I don't know, it's just different. So yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to hear how you do it.
Yeah, I'll send that over. I'll send it to Katie and then she can disperse it.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like we are kind of like Instagram newbies over here. I don't know, and I think we're running, kind of a common struggle right now is finding new contacts. And our old way isn't working as well. And, I know Instagram is a really great place to find new contacts. So thank you for sharing this info with us.
Yeah, of course.
So let me see. There's one more comment here. An Instagram training mentioned to comment on like-minded coaches because their people may end up looking up and following you. Okay. Thanks, Diane. Another little tip.
Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions for Samantha before we let her go? No one? I loved your avatar, by the way. Actually, that looked a lot like you. So that was great. I was like, oh, it could be her. So very cool. Thank you for sharing that. Love seeing everything laid out. And it's always great to hear from somebody else and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate you spending so much time with us tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
All right. Everyone have a great night. Thank you for being on live. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Good night.